Boys High School Podcast. JJ, how you doing? We've got some breaking news, sort of. We've got girls basketball brackets for 1A, 2A, and 3A, so we can go into that here a little bit. What's new on your end?
We had 3A, 4A assignments come in last week, so I think the official pairings for 1A and 2A are imminent because I know all the coaches had their Zoom meetings over the weekend, so to hash out seeds for each district. So I think this postseason thing's happening, Lindy. I think.
I wouldn't know why not. So why don't you go ahead and discuss the 3A, 4A pods? What are your takes on that?
Substate 1 is Council Bluffs Jefferson without Josh Dix. Is in or Council Bluffs Lincoln, is in a Substate 8 with a good Johnston team, for instance. West Des Moines Dowling is always capable, although they're kind of down this year, so there's no free ride for there. And then Substate 1, same thing. It sent some Central Iowa teams out to Western Iowa. Waukee and Ankeny are with like the Sioux City schools and Council Bluffs Jefferson, and kind of did the same thing a little bit with Substate 3. They sent West Des Moines Valley over into a Substate with Cedar Falls, which would probably be the favorite, along with Valley, and then the Waterloo schools and Cedar Rapids Jefferson's in there. And Substate 5 is Iowa City High and Iowa City West, and along with undefeated Pleasant Valley, and then Substate 6, which originally you would have thought Cedar Rapids Prairie was the overwhelming favorite there. When you look at in there with Hempstead and Senior and Davenport North, Clinton, Bettendorf, but Prairie lost one of his starting guards, Elijah Ward, to a broken hand the other night. So, and there's the 3-year starter that's gone for the rest of the season. So, I thought in 4A, really, Jeff, they did a nice job of kind of splitting the power and weren't opposed to kind of sending the some Central Iowa schools, both West and East, which is to me is a nice thing. And then you kind of look at Substate 4 real quick. Again, pretty good job of kind of splitting things up. Substate 4, for instance, Xavier's in there with a good Washington, Iowa team. DeWitt Central is a good team as well. Substate 3 is Dubuque Waller's having a real nice season. Substate 2, Decorah's only got one loss, and Clear Lake's a really good team. So you probably can see them together. Substate 5 is Marion. Fort Madison, which is number 1 in 3A, but lost its first game the other night, and Clear Creek Amana is in there as well. And Marion and Clear Creek Amana had a real good game the other night. So overall, 3A, 4, I thought they did a really nice job of kind of splitting the power. And, as always, as we know, geography is still going to play a big part in it. But, kudos, I guess, to the association for at least attempting to try and get its best teams in. So fire away with the girls.
Yeah, first of all, you said Washington, Iowa, and Fort Madison are not in the same sub-state, right?
Correct.
So
Yeah.
Good. That's good. That would have been, a bad miss, but, kudos to the association for splitting those two up.
Yeah, and you don't really know always how Southeast Iowa is, at least that conference. It's not a big conference, number of teams wise, and so I guess we'll find out how strong both those teams. I think they play again either this week or I think early next week. They already played once. Fort Madison won. So it's nice to see a couple of 3A schools that not ordinarily haven't necessarily been especially strong in boys basketball, be strong in boys basketball.
Right. So, Fort Madison, have they been good since the Ryan Bowen days? Is this their first really good stretch since that?
Yeah, this is the first time that I can remember they've been this strong, quite frankly. I mean, that's always been a conference that Mount Pleasant has kind of been the school that's always really good. And so this is the first year that I can remember the Bloodhounds being, this good. And I was able to see Washington, Iowa earlier in the year at a tournament at Cole College. I was really impressed. They push the ball and, have some guys that can shoot it. And they also have a little bit of size inside. Yeah, good basketball. An area that doesn't necessarily always at the bigger school level make that big of a presence. Certainly is right now.
Good, good. Anything else you want to touch on the boys' side?
I want to hear about the girls pairings, and then maybe we'll kind of flip flop. So,
all right, sounds good. Let's see, 3A. We'll start with Region 3. Center Point Urbana is the top seed there. They're in with the probable regional final opponent probably is going to be Vinton Shellsburg, maybe Monticello. That's kind of how it looks there. 3A Region 4, West Liberty still shooting for its first state tournament appearance in 5-on-5 basketball. They are the top seed in 3A4, and on the other side is Mid Prairie. Assumption's looming as a possible regional semi-opponent, even though the Knights have to go on the road first round. Region 5, Roland Story and West Marshall are the two ranked teams there and are projected to meet in the regional final. Mount Vernon, which is playing very well right now. I've got a tidbit on the Mustangs in for tomorrow. They're favored to play Roland Story in the semis. Williamsburg is also in there. Region 6, 7, 8, no area teams there. We'll bump down to 2A quick. Let's see. All right, start with Region 4. Denver's there. MFL Marmac, which is going to win the Upper Iowa Conference, would be a regional semifinal opponent against Denver. On the other side, probably Appling Parkersburg, maybe Osage comes out of there. Region 5, kind of a wide open region. Jessup is the top seed. Grundy Center is in there. Cascade, always a really good team. I think Cascade got a pretty nice break by not having to run into Dyke or Denver. So Bellevue's in there, and Beckman, which doesn't have a great record, but plays in the Walmart Conference and will definitely be tournament tested. Also in 2A5. 2A6, Iowa City, Regina, and Mediapolis are probably the co-favorites in there. They would meet in the regional final. West Branch and Wilton have a tricky first round quarterfinal game against each other. With the winner, they're probably getting to play Regina in the would be in the quarters. Would be in the quarters, in the semis. All right, and that pretty much takes care of 2A. Moving down to 1A. Let's see. North Lynn is down to 1A this year. They're the favorite in their region. They get the first round bye in a 15-team region. They should have a pretty easy trip to the regional final. The other side's pretty deep. East Buchanan, Central City, Central Turkey Valley are all on the bottom bracket, and that would a lot of teams could come out of the bottom there. 1A5, Springville got a good draw based on their win over North Lynn the other night. They're the top seed there, the only ranked team in that region. Baxter, a very good team out of the Iowa Star Conference, is on the other side. Mesquakee's having a really nice year. They're also on the bottom side. They're probably the best teams on the top other than Springville or probably Iowa Valley and Collins Maxwell. Region 6, Montezuma, which has been at state the last few years, they're in that one. They're probably considered the number 2 seed. Burlington Notre Dame would be the 1 projected to get to the regional finals. Some other good teams there. Winfield Mount Union's got a nice team. English Valley is the South Iowa Cedar League East Division champion. They're in there. And that takes care of that. And that pretty much takes care of the area in 1A and 2A and 3 and kind of an express hit on all that.
Have you kind of mapped out according to seeds how many schools you think you might have get in, Jeff, or is it too early to even?
It's probably too early to tell. I think you could probably bank on probably two schools definitely in 1A, maybe a third. 2A, pretty good chance that we'll get probably just one or two in 2A. 3A, probably a couple. So I would say probably about 6 schools in the bottom 3 classes, give or take. It's 5 to 7, we'll say.
We've got, I was figuring it out the other day. There are 5 teams left in the state on the boys side that are still undefeated. 3 of them are in 1A, Lake Mills, Grandview Christian, and Remsen St. Mary's. Then Mid Prairie is the only 2A team unbeaten. No 3A teams are unbeaten. And then Pleasant Valley is still unbeaten in 4A. Is that pretty similar on the girls' side? Unbeaten teams around the state?
Let me take a look here. We have no area ranked teams in girls basketball. What do you have left for the boys? Are Mid Prairie and Monticello both still undefeated?
No, Monticello's actually lost 2 in a row. Lost in a tournament across the river Saturday to East Dubuque, Illinois, and then got beat by Northeast Goose Lake the other night. So Monty's kind of hitting a little bit of a low here right before state tournament, and then them in Mid Prairie will play to end the regular season next week, I believe. So
Where's that game?
Kind of determine maybe that's at Mid Prairie. So
Okay.
I really want to see Mid Prairie play. I haven't seen play. I mean, they took it to a really good Wilton team the other night by 30 points. I have seen Wilton play. Wilton's got a really nice team, and Mid Prairie just took them apart. So,
Okay. Girls, 5A Johnson's the only unbeaten left. A lot of people think that Johnson is maybe one of the best girls basketball teams that the state's ever had. We'll see how that turns out. They're 17-0. 4A, no unbeatens left. No one beatens left. Sioux City Heelan is the best team record-wise in 4A at 16-2. 3A, no unbeatens left. Unity Christian is 17-1. West Lyons 17-1. Mediapolis is the lone unbeaten in 2A at 18-0. And in 1A, we've got 4 left: Baxter, Burlington, Notre Dame, Stanton, and MMCRU. So what's that, 6? 1 in 5A, 1 in 2A, and 4 in 1A. So we're down to 6 in girls basketball.
How was the rematch the other night, Springville and North Lynn?
It's high level basketball. Both teams played well. Springville shot really well. Lauren Wilson didn't miss a shot from the field. She was 11 for 11, including 3 for 3 from downtown. 26 points, 17 rebounds. She had a great game. They had a nice plan against Cameron Kirk from North Lynn. Face guard her all over the place, and Springville jumped to I think they led by as many as 14. Northland got it down to 4 in the last couple minutes. Springville held on to win by 6. But it was a really good game, and both of those teams are certainly top. Well, they're ranked 3 and 6 in the current rankings. I think they're probably 3 and 4 in reality. But excellent teams, and if the brackets turn out the way they should, they'll play again in the quarterfinals at Des Moines.
How about that, huh? Maybe we play at Cedar Rapids. Don't make them go all the way to Des Moines, right?
They can play in Central City. They can play at Wabeek.
Wabeek.
So there are options.
Were you able to even just take a couple looks at the boys' game out of curiosity there the other night?
Really good. They just run and trap, and it was over at halftime. Northland went on a big run, and I think it ended up being about a 30-point game, but it was pretty one-sided.
Yeah, they've that loss they took, I think, kind of woke them up a little bit. They avenged it the other last Saturday against Edco, beat Edco by I think 13 points, something like that. And actually, I'm going to be out at Lisbon tonight. Lisbon and Northland play, and they are, for some reason, in the opposite divisions in the Tri Rivers, and They lead their respective divisions, so be interesting to see, how Lisbon plays against a team that obviously is starting to really round into form from Northland. So,
On the east, I think, I think they're probably just a little bit east of Springville and Central City. So I guess that's why they end up over there geographically. And when North Cedar comes in next year, they'll be in the east to balance that out 8 and 8. So
yeah, it's just a straight highway shot, right? 30 from Lisbon to Calumet Wheatland. So
they'll. Back in my day, there was Lisbon, there was Lincoln, there was Clarence Loud, there was Calumet, there was Wheatland. So six teams from the same conference, all on Highway 30.
Wasn't Olin in your league?
Olin was in our league, but they were on Highway 30. We had to go north on 38 to go match up with the Lions.
Very good. Very good. What do you got on Friday night, Lindy?
Well, I was kind of trying to decide about that. I didn't decide until this morning. I think I'm just going to go to Wash and cover Kennedy Wash. I shouldn't say just go to Wash. I mean, that's two good 5A teams. Kennedy, I think Wash, the last time they played, that was the night Hannah Stolke scored 42. And I think that was 73-57 Wash. I think it'll be a good game again. Kind of an interesting little cycle here. Let's see, Wash beat Kennedy the first time around. Kennedy beat Linmar twice, and Linmar beat Wash twice. So still trying to figure out what the pecking order is with those three teams. And I imagine the union will like to see that result before they come out with pairings for 5A next week.
Yeah. I just got the impression the other night watching the Linmar and Wash girls game that came right down to the wire. There are times when I think Hannah Stolke could not be stopped.
Yeah.
I just get her the ball and get out of the way and let her do her thing. And, I don't know. That was just my impression from that game. She's got a lot of skill. Really like that. 100%. So, but Linmar was able. Go ahead.
Speaking of Iowa, I'll be up at Madison tonight, 6:30 game, the Hawkeyes and the Badgers. Waiting to see what kind of lineup Iowa puts together. I would say McKenna Warnock and Gabby Marshall both iffy after that really physical game against Ohio State the other night. I was already without 4 players due to various injuries. So, worst case scenario, they could be playing with a lineup of 7 or 8. Best case, probably 9. And, Iowa hasn't lost to Wisconsin since 2007. I think that's 24 games in a row. It's a game they've got to have. And then they go to Michigan on Sunday.
How fun was that game the other night? Ohio State. I watched quite a bit of it.
It was a typical Iowa game. A lot of scoring. Really entertaining game. I think the physical play favored Ohio State down the stretch. Iowa got a little bit rattled. They had 5 turnovers in the last 5 minutes, and not going to win games that way. So, Caitlin Clark scored 43 points. She had a couple turnovers on the stretch too. So, if you were able to watch a lot of that game, what were your impressions from somebody who doesn't see them every day?
Caitlin Clark pulling up from 30 was interesting, whoosh. And then, she just kind of shakes her head back and forth like, yeah, I knew it was going in. So
yeah,
it's entertaining. It's very high octane.
Yeah.
Right.
It's very
that's how they
fan
play?
friendly basketball.
Correct. Yeah. That's a great way to put it. And, that's good. I mean, I gotta think the players love playing that kind of style, right?
I would think so. So, where are you going to be Friday?
I think Xavier and Prairie, girl boy doubleheader, over at Xavier. That's the plan. Xavier kind of lays in the weeds there. Playing all 4A schools during the regular season. Yeah. Just kind of hangs around that 500 mark, and then when 3A tournament rolls around there, dangerous things. So
yeah, they gave Iowa City West everything they wanted when I saw them. I think it was Friday. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't want them in my bracket, girls or boys.
Exactly. Got to give a quick shout out to Tri-County, ending an 80-game losing streak the other night. The boys did. Hadn't won since 2018, almost 4 years right on the dot. So Tri-County beat Melcher Dallas the other night. So good deal for the Trojans. They're the smallest school in that league, and sometimes it's kind of been a little bit of a struggle, but get that nasty losing streak out of the way and just play basketball, boys. So wanted to point that out real quick. Sorry about that. So.
All right. How many area teams have clinched titles for the boys? Anybody have anything wrapped up yet, or are we still a week or so away from that?
Speaking of the sickle, Iowa Valley has clinched its division, which gives it its first boys basketball conference title since 1966. So congratulations there. Most of the other ones not quite decided yet. They're still, kind of technically some things that can happen. So I think that's the only one really that has been decided. Montezuma took a big step towards winning the other half of the sickle by beating North Mahaska the other night. That's a team that seems to be rounding back into form. It's been to state tournament, I think, 3 years in a row. So look out for them. And then Decorah is real close too in the Northeast Iowa Conference. That's a team that's lost only one game and is 15-1. Continues to improve. It's up to number 2 in the state. Might be number 1 next week. Considering number 1 this week, Fort Madison got beat. So John Carlson doing a great job there with the Vikings, and they've had a nice little run here the last 2, 3, 4 years. And I think that's a program that's just going to continue to compete for Northeast Iowa Conference championships. And I think 1975 was the last time the Vikings were at the state tournament. So you never know. You never know. That'd be a heck of a thing 50, 40 years later. It is. So.
The girls have made some progress too. They're in second place in that conference. I don't think they have a senior on their roster. So definitely a team to look out for in 23.
Outstanding. So.
Yeah, hockey this weekend?
Sunday, a rare Sunday afternoon game. We're actually going to get it in the actual newspaper. Cedar Rapids plays Green Bay. So wanted to say thank you to the Rough Riders again for letting us auction off that Blues jersey the other night, raised $500 for the Abbey Center. So very, very nice.
Really thought that was a nice piece that KCOG did on you and your family. So
yeah. Chelsea did an awesome job, and very, very proud of my sisters for having the courage and the strength to tell their story. So there is help out there, folks. No question. I think that's the thing we all want everybody to know. If you're feeling down, if you want to, talk to somebody, there's always somebody that can help you. So there you go. There's my last message, I guess, for the day.
Right. Well, that's a good one to end on. I think that's all for today. We'll be back next week. We'll be talking postseason basketball a little bit more and kind of putting a bow on the regular season, getting close to that at least. But thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you soon.